and it's a beautiful day here now. This morning was a bit chilly and a bit damp after all the rain we had yesterday, and I'll just show you what I've been up to today. Hello everybody, it's a cold morning this morning after all the rain we had yesterday. It never stopped raining yesterday. Hopefully we'll start to get a bit more dry weather. Now this hedge line here, my garden's the other side of this hedge, and a few years ago I planted comfrey in this bit of waste ground. You can see the dark patches where the leaves have died off over the winter, and I'm going to dig some of it up because I want to put some back into my garden. And I've also acquired some of a friend some more artichoke bulbs, Jerusalem artichoke, and also some horseradish roots, and you can just see that they're starting to shoot. I don't want horseradish in the garden. I did have it in the garden a few years back, and to be fair, it isn't something you really want to plant in your garden. It does spread, and that's one reason why I put a pond in, was to dig it all out, all the horseradish that I didn't want. So I'm going to put some horseradish up here, and also those few Jerusalem artichoke bulbs, and I'm also going to take some of the comfrey back. You can just see that the comfrey is just starting to shoot in places, so I want to get these out and into the ground. The idea is that I'm going to put them up the fence line, because it does stop weeds encroaching from the field, and it's also good habitat for wildlife to hide. So I'll just dig these out, and then I shall bring you back. With the artichokes, I'm just going to dig a little bit of a trench here and put them into that, and then just put my foot on it and squeeze it back over. And this is up a hedge line, so it'll cause a bit of a barrier. And with the horseradish, I'm just going to do exactly the same, trench across there, and I'm just going to lie these pieces in them. They're just pieces of root, and you lie them on the side. Doesn't have to be thick pieces, as you can see, and they'll grow away happily, they will. I have asked for permission to do this off the farmer, and he's very obliging. It is a bit of wasteland, this is, and you can see that these already started to shoot in the bag. And then every autumn I can come and dig a couple of roots up, and I'll have a fresh supply of horseradish. And you can see there that the roots on this comfrey is very thick. That's as thick as my wrist, and they certainly go down a long way into the ground, which is where they get their benefits from, because they bring up all the nutrients from deep down. I shall be planting some of those tips there, and also you can cut the root into little tiny segments and lie them flat on the sides and plant those as well. I shall wash these off and give you a closer look at them, but you can see that the roots certainly go down a long way, and the taproot probably goes down 6 foot or even more. This was just one plant, and I left about a quarter of it left, and you can see how prolific they are. So I shall give these a wash off, and the idea is this little patch here, to give you perspective of where I am next to the polytunnel, this little patch here, we put some wild flowers in last year. It got overgrown with some weeds as well and some grass, but the grass from the field encroaches over into our ground, and if I plant some of this comfrey across the edge, it will stop weeds encroaching from neighbouring land. So that's one benefit of comfrey. I'm also going to plant it in the grass here and have a couple of rows, so I've actually got my own comfrey bed. With this variety being Bocking 14, the flowers are sterile and it doesn't spread. The clumps will get wide, a little bit wider, a bit like rhubarb does, and that's the only way that it spreads really. The clumps just get wider, but it should keep the light out from all this grass here, and it should end up being a permanent comfrey bed. And that's how much confidence I have in the plant, wanting to put a bed of its own in the garden. It has so many uses, which I shall explain while I'm planting it. I've washed these roots here, and you can see that they do grow quite thick, the roots. I'll give you an idea. I can't quite get my hands around that. And what I plan to do is I've made me planting holes the same width. 2, 4, 8, 12, there's 14 holes there. And I don't want to cut this grass back yet, because that'll be full of wildlife. So what I'll do, I'll plant one in each one of these holes, and I'll let nature take its course, and as the plants grow, that should shield the light off that grass, and eventually that should go. Might take a couple of seasons, but also this grass here will eventually go away. So like I say, a couple of seasons. I won't cut it at all this year. And all as I need to do with these, something like that, I'll plant that as it is. But what I'll do is make sure I've got something like that. You can plant them just from the roots here, like this. And I think if you buy them, I think they're about 10 or 12 pounds for about 3 or 4 pieces like that. And you plant them on their sides like that, and they pop up shoots all the way along their length. Comfrey is a great feed for your garden. You can make comfrey tea, and if you want to know how to make that, pop along to Terry King's channel, Allotment Gardening on a Budget, and in his playlist you'll see plenty of different ways and uses for the comfrey. And while I'm just mentioning Terry, I did have the postman call the other day, and you can see from the yellow tape that it's a parcel from Terry. Thank you very much, Terry. And he sent me some Pongo beans. I do have some of those off Bill and Val, so these will be sown as a successional crop a bit later after I sow Bill and Val's. And he sent me some super soil, which I shall be mixing with some water, 1 gram bag to a litre of water, and I should be putting that on. I shall put it on all the beds, but I should only put it on one side and see if we can see any difference, although I do believe that it does multiply and spread. And also, because I'm forgetting my labels, my names of my plants, he sent me some duct tape and one of his pens, which is a permanent marker, the Edding 750 paint marker. That one doesn't degrade in the sun whatsoever. So I've got no excuse now for labelling all my plants in the garden and telling you what they are when I do a plot tour. So thank you very much, Terry, very much appreciated. But the comfrey is so good, you can feed it to your poultry. They love the leaves. It's you can dry the leaves out and scrunch them up and put them on your soil. It's a good conditioner and feed for the soil. You can chop and drop and put them on top of the soil as well. It's a compost activator. If you put your compost on and then put a watering can of comfrey tea on, it will help to activate the compost, and you'll get compost a lot quicker. And also you can take half a leaf and scrunch it up and put it in your potting hole, and it also helps with stress when you're transplanting plants, and it'll be a good feed for the new plant that you've planted. So comfrey, you can't have enough comfrey. If you can make room for just one plant in your garden, you won't be disappointed, and the bees absolutely love it. And it's also an ornamental plant for your garden as well. So I'll get on with planting these, and I'll show you what it looks like when I finish. And that's all there is to it. So there we are, all planted up, and I've just put a little bit of low nutrient soil on around them, and I've tried to use ones which have all got shoots already on them, even though that I could have used any of those, to be fair, and that's what I've got left. I'm going to dig a hole at the top of the garden and put them all in one place. And as you can see, they've got a bit of a head start already, and I'll keep you up to date with how they turn out, and this should turn out into a good bed in this time next year. Hopefully I'll be where I want to be with them, and I'll start harvesting. Many thanks for watching, everybody. Hope you have a great weekend. Enjoy this bit of sunshine while we've got it. Take good care. Bye for now.